Joanne Rowling, known to the world as J.K. Rowling, was born on July 31st, 1965, in Yate, Gloucestershire, England. She grew up in a middle-class family, and from an early age, Rowling showed a deep love for storytelling and literature. She would often write fantasy stories and read them to her younger sister, Diane. This early passion for storytelling would stay with her throughout her life, shaping her future in ways she could not yet imagine. Rowling's childhood, however, was not without its struggles. Her relationship with her father was strained, and her mother, Anne, suffered from multiple sclerosis. Despite these challenges, Rowling found solace in books, reading voraciously and dreaming of becoming a writer. After completing her secondary education, she went on to study French and the classics at the University of Exeter, following her parents' wishes rather than her own passion for English literature. After graduation, Rowling moved to London to work as a researcher and bilingual secretary for Amnesty International. While she was proud to work for such a noble cause, Rowling was not particularly happy with her career. Her mind constantly wandered back to the stories she longed to write, and she struggled with the monotony of office work. It was during this period that the seed of what would become the Harry Potter series began to take root in her mind. In 1990, Rowling's life was about to change dramatically, though at first it would be for the worse. On a delayed train from Manchester to London, Rowling had a sudden flash of inspiration. The idea for a story about a young boy who discovers he is a wizard. She immediately began imagining the world of magic that Harry Potter would inhabit, a place filled with wonder, danger, and adventure. This was the beginning of what would eventually become one of the most beloved book series in history. However, just as this idea was forming, Rowling was hit with a devastating personal tragedy. Later that same year, her mother passed away after a long battle with multiple sclerosis. Rowling was heartbroken. Her mother's death profoundly affected her and would later influence the way she wrote about loss and grief in the Harry Potter books. In an effort to cope with her grief, Rowling moved to Portugal, where she hoped to start anew. She took a job teaching English as a foreign language, hoping that a change of scenery might help her find some peace. It was also during this time that she met Jorge Arantes, Portuguese journalist. They married in 1992 and had a daughter, Jessica, in 1993. However, the marriage quickly fell apart, and Rowling found herself back in the UK, a single mother with a newborn child. Rowling's return to the UK marked one of the most difficult periods of her life. She had no job, no money, and was raising her daughter alone. At one point, she described herself as being as poor as it is possible to be in modern Britain without being homeless. She lived in a small, cramped flat in Edinburgh, surviving on government welfare benefits. Rowling struggled with depression during this time, later describing it as one of the darkest periods of her life. Her depression, coupled with the overwhelming responsibility of being a single mother, made life incredibly difficult. Yet, amidst the darkness, Rowling found solace in the one thing that had always brought her joy: writing. With little else to distract her, she began working on the story that had come to her on that fateful train ride years earlier. Rowling would sit in cafes while Jessica slept in her pram, typing out the manuscript for what would become Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Writing was both an escape and a lifeline for Rowling. She poured all her emotions into the story, using it as a way to cope with the difficulties she was facing: her financial struggles, her battle with depression, and her feelings of loss after her mother's death all found their way into the world of Harry Potter. She later revealed that the Dementors, the terrifying creatures that feed on human happiness in the series, were inspired by her own experience with depression. Despite her passion for the project, Rowling faced immense difficulties in trying to get her book published. After completing the manuscript, she sent it to multiple publishers, only to be met with rejection after rejection. 12 publishers turned down the manuscript for Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, with many claiming that children wouldn't be interested in a story about a young wizard. Despite these rejections, Rowling refused to give up. She believed in her story and was determined to see it published. Finally, in 1996, after more than a year of searching for a publisher, she received an offer from Bloomsbury, a small London publishing house. The editor at Bloomsbury, Barry Cunningham, had been encouraged to take a chance on the book after his 8-year-old daughter fell in love with the first chapter. However, even Bloomsbury was cautious. Cunningham advised Rowling to get a day job because he didn't think she would be able to make a living from writing children's books. Despite this lukewarm reception, Rowling was overjoyed to have finally found a publisher. Her dream of becoming a published author was about to come true. Potter and the Philosopher's Stone was published in 1997 with an initial print run of only 500 copies. Rowling could not have imagined the success that lay ahead. The book received critical acclaim and quickly gained a dedicated following. Word of mouth spread, and soon children and adults alike were captivated by the magical world of Hogwarts, its endearing characters, and its thrilling adventures. As the popularity of the series grew, so did Rowling's career. In 1998, the book was published in the United States under the title Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, and it became an instant bestseller. Over the next decade, Rowling would go on to write 6 more books in the series, each one more successful than the last. The Harry Potter series became a global phenomenon, translated into over 80 languages and selling more than 500 million copies worldwide. The success of the Harry Potter books catapulted Rowling into the spotlight, turning her into one of the most famous authors in the world. The books were adapted into a blockbuster film series, further solidifying her status as a literary icon. What had started as a small idea on a train had transformed into one of the most successful and beloved franchises in history. With the success of Harry Potter, Rowling's financial situation changed dramatically. She went from living in poverty to becoming one of the wealthiest women in the world. However, Rowling has never forgotten the struggles she faced during her years as a single mother, and she has used her wealth and influence to give back to those in need. Rowling has donated millions to various charitable causes, particularly those that focus on children, poverty, and multiple sclerosis research, in memory of her mother. She founded the charity Lumos, which works to end the institutionalization of children and support families in need. She has also been an outspoken advocate for human rights, using her platform to speak out on issues such as gender equality, mental health, and education. Despite her immense wealth and success, Rowling has remained grounded and humble. She continues to write, though nothing she has published since Harry Potter has matched the success of the series. In 2012, she published The Casual Vacancy, a novel for adults that tackled issues of class, politics, and social justice. She also writes crime fiction under the pseudonym Robert Galbraith. Her journey from poverty to literary stardom is one of the most inspiring stories of our time. She faced immense hardship, including the loss of her mother, financial struggles, and rejection by multiple publishers. Yet through it all, she never gave up on her dream of becoming a writer. Her resilience, determination, and unwavering belief in her story are what allowed her to overcome the odds and achieve success beyond her wildest dreams. The Harry Potter series has left an indelible mark on popular culture, inspiring generations of readers and touching the hearts of millions. Rowling's characters, themes, and messages about love, friendship, and courage continue to resonate with audiences around the world. Her story is a testament to the power of perseverance and the importance of never giving up, no matter how difficult the journey may seem. Today, J.K. Rowling remains one of the most influential and beloved authors in the world. She has proven that no matter where you start in life, with hard work, determination, and a little bit of magic, you can achieve greatness.